My family called me useless at my sister's graduation. Then a helicopter arrived. Everyone stared.
My family called me useless at my sister's graduation. Then a helicopter arrived. Everyone stared. The moment my mother called me useless in front of everyone at my sister's graduation, I smiled. Not because it didn't hurt, but because 30 seconds later, a military helicopter would land behind the stadium. And every single person who laughed at me would suddenly fall silent. My name is Lisa Carter. And that day, my entire family discovered that the daughter they thought had failed in life had actually been living a secret they never imagined. But to understand why that helicopter landed for me, you need to understand why my own family believed I was a disappointment. The university stadium was filled with excitement. Graduates in black gowns covered the field, families packed the stands, and cameras flashed everywhere. It was a day of pride, a day of celebration, a day my family had been waiting for. My younger sister, Emily Carter, was graduating with honors. Our entire family came to watch. My father sat proudly in the front row with a professional camera. My mother held a huge bouquet of roses wrapped in shiny paper. My aunts, uncles, and cousins filled 2 entire rows of seats. Everyone was smiling. Everyone was proud. Everyone, except when they looked at me. I sat quietly at the end of the row, wearing simple clothes and holding a small gift bag for Emily. No one asked me to sit closer. No one asked me to join the family photos. No one even asked how I had been. Because in the Carter family, I was the daughter who never achieved anything. "Lisa, move over," my Aunt Karen said, squeezing past me. "We need seats for the successful people." My cousin Tyler laughed. "Yeah, Lisa doesn't need a good view. She's not the one graduating." A few relatives chuckled. I stayed quiet. You get used to it after a while. But the worst moment came just minutes later. My mother leaned toward my aunt and said something she probably thought I wouldn't hear. "Emily is the only child I'm proud of," she said softly. "Lisa just disappeared for 3 years and came back with nothing." My chest tightened, but I didn't argue. Because technically, she wasn't wrong. 3 years ago, I had left home suddenly. No explanations. No social media updates. No college graduation. No big career announcement. To them, I had simply vanished and failed at life. What they didn't know was that those 3 years had been the hardest and most important years of my life. The graduation ceremony began. Students walked across the stage one by one, while families cheered loudly. Then finally, the announcer called the name my family was waiting for. Emily Carter. My entire family jumped to their feet. "That's MY daughter," my mom shouted proudly. My dad clapped loudly. Emily walked confidently across the stage and received her diploma with a bright smile. The crowd erupted in applause. I clapped too, because despite everything, I loved my sister. When Emily stepped off the stage, my mother wiped tears from her eyes. "My daughter is a college graduate," she said proudly. Then she looked at me. Her smile faded. "You could have been up there too, Lisa, if you didn't waste your life." My aunt shook her head. "Such a shame. She had potential once." My cousin whispered loudly enough for me to hear. "Some people just aren't meant for success." I looked down at my phone quietly. The time read 11:42 a.m. Right on schedule. Because something was about to happen that no one in that stadium expected. At first, it was just a faint sound. A distant thump, thump, thump in the sky. Some people looked around. "Do you hear that?" someone asked. The sound grew louder. Thump, thump, thump. Then suddenly, a large military helicopter appeared above the stadium. Students pointed up. Parents started recording. "What is that doing here?" my uncle asked. The helicopter circled once above the field. Wind from the blades began blowing graduation caps across the grass. The ceremony paused as everyone watched. Then slowly, the helicopter descended toward the open field behind the stadium. It landed smoothly. The crowd went silent. Thousands of people stared. My cousin laughed nervously. "Wow, someone important must be here." The helicopter door opened. 2 soldiers stepped out first. Then a tall officer followed. He looked around the stadium, scanning the crowd carefully. Then he began walking toward the stands, toward my section. My aunt whispered nervously, "Why are they coming here?" The officer climbed the stairs calmly, with the soldiers behind him. The entire row went quiet as he stopped directly in front of me. He stood straight. Then he raised his hand and saluted me. "Captain Lisa Carter," he said firmly. "Your presence is required immediately." The entire section froze. My mother blinked in confusion. "Captain what?" My father looked stunned. "Lisa, what is he talking about?" The officer handed me a small folder. "Ma'am, your unit has been activated for emergency deployment." Gasps spread through the crowd. My cousin stared at me. "Wait, Lisa, you're in the army." I stood up slowly. "Yes," I said calmly. "For the last 3 years." My aunt covered her mouth. "You're a soldier." The officer corrected her politely. "Not just a soldier." He nodded toward the helicopter. "Captain Carter is one of our top helicopter pilots." The crowd murmured loudly. My mother looked like she couldn't breathe. You fly that helicopter." I smiled slightly. "Sometimes." Emily suddenly ran toward me in her graduation gown. "Lisa, why didn't you tell us?" I looked at her gently. "Because nobody ever asked." The helicopter blades began spinning again. The wind grew stronger. The officer gestured toward the aircraft. "Ready when you are, Captain." I hugged Emily quickly. "I'm proud of you," I whispered. Then I walked toward the helicopter. Behind me, I could hear my family whispering in disbelief. "The useless one. She's a military captain. And she flies helicopters." I climbed inside the aircraft. The door closed. The helicopter lifted slowly into the sky. From above, I could see the entire stadium. Thousands of people staring. Phones recording. And my family standing there, completely speechless. For years, they believed I had wasted my life. But the truth was simple. While they were judging me, I was training. While they were doubting me, I was flying missions. And while they called me useless, I was becoming someone they never expected. Sometimes the people who doubt you the most are the ones who know the least about your journey. And sometimes, the quietest person in the family is the one flying the helicopter. Read, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Lisa's Stories, and tell me in the comments.